I'm Ryan Hoosier. I'm with Keller Williams Realty of Vero Beach. I've been licensed for 6 years now, coming up in June. I transitioned from country club management that I was in for 8 years, and I kind of made that my niche that I was going to work. And Commissions Inc. was a real help and insight into break into that market. So I was doing some minimal stuff on Zillow, Realtor.com, and at the time I was still working inside of a country club. So that a lot of my lead generation was that sphere of influence. Fortunately for me, working in the club was great, but unfortunately I chose the budget clubs of my community. So getting into those higher luxury clubs was something that there was no way to me really to break into it unless I pursued something like Commissions Inc. Someone that I know approached me who was part of the reason I joined Keller Williams, and he had a Commissions Inc. website that he'd been running since, I believe it was 2016. He jumped in very early and he had some success from it, and he wanted me to join his team. I went ahead and did a referral system with him for about 2 years. I knew his end goal was retiring and moving out of Florida. So I inherited, took it over. When it came time to renew the contract, he said, if you want it, it's yours. So I was working with him from 2021 until he left. I think I signed on myself in October of 24. I was working with Commissions Inc. now for close to 5 years, just under, or between 4.5 and 5 years. I look at it in two different ways. You could be a front runner and you can invest into something that's inexpensive at the time that could possibly pay off years in the future, like Zillow did for people back in 2012, who's, now they're killing it on there, but at the time it was inexpensive and now they're on Flex. If you're gonna do that, that's perfectly fine. But if you're going to invest a significant amount of money into a system, make sure it's something that does the numbers, like Think. Because I could tell you now, just in 2026, off of 2 closings that I'm having, only in April, my ROI is going to be at 400% for the year. And that's all 12 months of my payment just from 2 closings. I'll be at 400% already for the year, just on those 2. And I have 3 other already taking place this year. And I have to say that these are people that I never would have met just in my sphere of influence or my day-to-day regular walk of life. I do pay the $350 for advertising for buyer leads. I specifically only do it in 32963, which is our luxury barrier island zip code, 32967, which is most of our country clubs. And then I also specifically pick areas where only the country club's in. So for example, like a Grand Harbor Country Club, I have X amount percentage of advertising in there specifically. So I'm very specific about where I advertise too. The average is going to be probably around 1.1 through Commissions Inc. over the years. Now that's obviously gone up as my experience and my pitch on every country club in the area is honed in. I've become extremely good at it. And when someone registers on the website, my wife jokes because every time we work together, now, every time someone says country club, I get extremely excited because my conversion rate is like 90-10 on anybody in a country club to at least start working with me and keep them on the phone. I just had someone the other day who spoke with 3 other realtors, and he heard me and he goes, well, I think I'm going to go with you. And he also mentioned how he loved the website. Another reason I think the website's had great success is through Commissions Inc. They said don't get too specific with it. Don't make it really branded, make it general. And I think that's why I get a lot of traffic on it, just because it's search South Florida area homes and everybody thinks it's like Zillow and they're going to hear from a different agent every time. And I advise them that they won't, and they love that. They love the security. It all varies. I'll give you a great example. March, I had a closing on the 27th. I've been working with the gentleman since mid-2021, like right when I came. And then I have a closing on Thursday where I've been working with the gentleman for 3 months. Where I've even had people who have registered and I had them in my car under contract within a week. So it's all over. It's hard to say average. It's just, I know, have the website up for like, let's say 2 years or so, you should be consistently closing at least once a month. I have a P1 and P2 filter, which is, somebody who's new. I call them immediately as quick as possible. And then I try and call every day, if not every other day, for 2 weeks. And then after that, every day I just generate through the people who had the most recent logins, the highest property views, and of course my to-dos or my reminders. I do have auto tracks. I have quite a few auto tracks, and I find those extremely valuable, especially the speed to lead. Welcome them as soon as they come on, send them a text the next day. I have a few of those, the holidays specified. Being able to just, attach a listing to an email through the app, through a text message. Me personally, when I'm out, I'll just do it right through the text because it's just so convenient. It makes things much easier. A lot better than working on the MLS on my phone. I've had to call into support a few times over the years just from like a small bug that would come in, and always answer the phone within 5 minutes. Then very transparent over what the issue was, and within minutes answered the phone call, told me everything that was going on. It was resolved in 2 days. And then having an account rep like Jonathan checking in on you monthly, asking the questions that can be a little hard and that you don't want to answer if you've been slacking, just to keep you on track. Having a good account manager is almost like having a partial coach. He's making sure, and if you have a reason as to why your numbers aren't hitting, he'll gladly advise you as to what you can do to tighten up and just make sure nobody's slipping through the cracks, which has been very helpful for me. So 2025, my ROI was around 950%. So, I made 6 figures off of Commission CINC, and I spent very low 5 figures. It's nice when you have a system that works. And, the about it, I would say to anybody is, when you have a system and you know that others have had success in it, if you're not having immediate success, it's the long game. Remember, my 10 years old. It's the long game. You just got to stay consistent and don't jump ship. If it's at least breaking even, I can guarantee you within years it will be highly profitable. Just don't go around looking for the next best, shiny object, because that's how people get burnt, and that's how you end up restarting a new website and starting from scratch all again. Just stay consistent, invest in one platform that will pay off. That's what it is at the end of the day with internet leads. They're nurtured leads. Don't depend on the fact you're going to spend X amount of money a month and someone's going to register saying, I want to buy right now, raise my hand, come shop with me. It may happen for 6 months, but I can guarantee you it will happen. It'll have great volume once the time has been invested into it. This month alone is paying more than I'm going to spend all year.